Good morning, and welcome back to the 5th podcast episode of It's Better with Becky and Sammy, where life is just a little bit better with Becky and Sammy. My name is Sammy Reese, and I'm a PhD candidate at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, where my research focuses mainly around genetics, and my spirit animal is a Chipotle burrito.
Hey guys, what's up? I'm Becky. I'm studying dietetics at the University of Georgia. I love everything about health and nutrition, so this episode's right down my alley. My spirit animal is a bag of hot Cheetos.
And small disclaimer for today's podcast episode. So today's podcast episode is mainly made for entertainment and education purposes only. If you do have a question about your personal health, please contact a certified or registered professional. Also, we do not want to take attention away from the powerful justice movement happening, but we do want to shed a little bit of light and brightness to your week. And to help us remember how to do this, we live by the words from the famous Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that.
Going off what Sammy said, I strongly believe and I stand that now that we have a voice that we believe that everyone should be deserved to have some love and to be loved equal. And that means that we both stand with you guys out there. We believe that Black lives do matter and that it's also Pride Month. And so I'm wearing these earrings just to support all the people out there, and everyone should deserve to be loved and have positivity in their life.
Yes, Rebecca. So that is just our disclaimer before we start our podcast. So let's go ahead and talk about our personal weeks. How have your week been, Rebecca?
It's been pretty awesome. Shameless plug, I am working on my website. So if you guys want to know a little bit more about me, my dietetics journey, also my intuitive eating journey, I will post a whole bunch of links. I'll post the link down below to see all my website. But besides that, I'm having an awesome week.
Well, that's wonderful. And I'm actually excited because we are now able to go back into research and lab at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. So I'm happy I get to do more PCRs. So let's go ahead and jump into the topic of today. So Rebecca and I truly believe in the philosophy of intuitive eating. However, sometimes I ask myself, is my intuitive eating balanced? And so we're going to talk about how we can answer that question today. Is our intuitive eating balanced? Are we eating too many carbs, or is our diet consist of too much fat? So we are going to ask that question. Hopefully we'll be able to answer it as well. So before we get into that, Rebecca, why don't you go ahead and introduce the audience to the principles of intuitive eating?
If you guys want a little bit more information on intuitive eating, I'll link some links down below of the research that I've done, but generally, intuitive eating has 10 principles. You can see the principles/pictures that I'm going to put up on the podcast on my YouTube channel, Becky R Fit. So the first principle is reject the diet mentality. I cannot do diets. I know Sammy cannot do diets. I know a couple of my friends that just can't do diets. So diets, not a thing anymore. The second principle is honor your hunger. If you're hungry, yes, it's okay to eat. If you're not hungry, it's fine, totally fine. So the third principle is make peace with food. Food isn't a reward. It's not bad. It's not healthy. It's not skinny. It's not, oh my God. There's no such thing. Food is just calories, fuel, nutrients for your body. Simple as that. The fourth principle is challenge the food police. So those little voices in your head that's telling you, no, you shouldn't eat that cookie, you're so bad. Tell those voices, bye sis, there's no such thing. And number 5 is discover your satisfaction factor. So what foods make you so good? What foods make you feel good? The 6th principle is feel your fullness. So if you're full, it's okay. You don't have to clean your plate off. Totally fine. So the 6th one is cope with your emotions with kindness. Instead of turning to food to make you feel better, find other things that make you feel better. Is it running, swimming, petting your dog, watching Netflix? Instead of focusing on food to make you feel better. So the 8th principle is respect and honor your body. Our body does so much for us. We wake up in the morning, we stand on our 2 feet, we run to our goals, we think with our awesome brain. So honor your body. Our body does so much for us. Number 9 is the movement. So this is when you're going to shift from how many calories I'm burning just to how does my workout make me feel? Does it make me feel awesome? Does it make me feel, ooh, am I sore? Like, do I love it? Those endorphins. And the 10th and final principle is gentle nutrition. So this is where you're going to take food choices that honor your health, but also satisfy your taste buds and how they make you feel. So that is the 10 principles of intuitive eating.
Yes, thank you so much for that wonderful introduction, Rebecca. And it is how Rebecca and I make our daily goals to see if we are becoming the better, happier us. So, to get back to the question that I proposed, is our intuitive eating style and habit, is it balanced? So, the way that we're going to be able to answer this question is one, we kept a food log for a whole entire day just to see what we were eating naturally. And two, we took a picture of our meals to track the portions and so that we can relate to you how much of the food made us satisfied. So because we don't want to necessarily focus on total grams of macros or total calories we personally ate, we're going to look at our ratios of macronutrition for the day. Now, to define the 3 different macros that we actually looked at, so first was the carbohydrates, and this was a macronutrition which includes sugars, starches, and celluloses. 2 was protein, and so all protein is long strings of amino acids connecting together to create a polypeptide chain. And 3 is a fat, which is a term to describe a class of macronutrients used in the metabolism called triglycerides. So we kept up with the ratio of those 3 macronutrition for each and every meal or thing that we ate that day. So let's go ahead and get started. So my day started with breakfast. And like I said before, you can look at all of our pictures of our daily meals on Rebecca's YouTube channel, Becky Are Fit. So what I had for breakfast this one particular day was a half of a bell pepper, 2 whole eggs, cottage cheese with everything but the bagel seasoning on top, and a cucumber. I was quite satisfied with this meal, and I eat something like this almost every single day. So the ratios of macronutrients for my personal meal was 24% carbohydrates, 47% proteins, and 27% fats.
So for my breakfast, I don't know about y'all, but comment down below or go ahead and shout us like a question or something if you guys are a morning workout. I know I love to work out in the morning because if I don't work out in the morning, then yeah, I don't get the workout in. So anyway, so my pre-workout meal, I just had some coconut milk with some protein powder, just so I had something in my stomach. So after my workout, I had oats with strawberries and flax seeds. I usually don't have oats in the mornings, but my muscles were a little bit sore, so I went ahead and had some carbs just to replace the glycogen storage in my muscles. Workout powder is 0%, which is, it's a stimulant. So how it is it's either calories or stimulants, which give us fuel for our bodies. And so for the total ratios, the carbs were 35%, protein was 31%, and the fats were 32% for my breakfast.
Oh, right. And I've actually had your oatmeal before, and it's one of my favorite breakfasts as well. So the next meal that I actually ate that day was a spinach and shrimp salad. And I really enjoy this lunch so much. I had it 3 days straight, and I'm actually going to have it again today. I'm looking forward to it right after this podcast. And this salad consists of shrimp, cucumbers, baby spinach, carrots, tomatoes, bell peppers, balsamic vinaigrette, a golden kiwi because I wanted a fruit snack, almonds and avocados because I wanted this meal to have a little bit more fats to it. And so the ratio of how this breaks down is 52% of it was carbohydrates, 29% of it was protein, and 18% of it was fats. Now, a little side note about this particular salad, I do not recommend the balsamic vinaigrette as a dressing. I just ran out of my original dressing, which I like. I like the Greek opa based dressing, so I don't recommend anyone putting it on there, but I still did enjoy it quite a lot.
For my lunch, I was still kind of pretty full from my oats. So I went ahead and had a salad, which is a kind of like a light lunch. So my salad consisted of 4 slices of roast beef, awesome protein if you're kind of tired of chicken and ground beef. It is high in iron, and girls our age need a lot of iron just because of our menstrual cycle. And so this also included just, arugula has a peppery aroma taste, and it had a whole bunch of other ingredients. I had this salad pack from Trader Joe's. I know all my friends love this. I put them on. It's the Southwestern salad. I just went ahead and used all the corn chips slash pumpkin seeds, and I included some healthy fats, where a sprinkle of chia seeds, a sprinkle of flax seeds, and a little bit of avocado. I love my healthy fats. They somewhat keep me fuller longer and more satisfied. And so the ratios were 28% carbs, 43% fats, that's coming from the avocados, chia seeds, flax seeds, and the protein is 29%.
Oh man, do I also really like those Trader Joe's salad packs? They are definitely a staple of my diet as well. So the next thing that I ate that day was dinner. Now this dinner is really cool because I was able to try out a new recipe which follows along with the number 10 principle of intuitive eating with gentle nutrition. Just try things out there, see what makes you feel good. So with this dinner, it consisted of a smoked chicken, which was delicious, sour cream, cheddar cheese, green onion, jalapenos, Night of the Living Dead barbecue sauce, which I put on the chicken, and sweet potato and olive oil. So basically, I made double stuffed sweet potatoes, and they were so good. We actually did this again since this one particular dinner. It's now a favorite of ours. And with this, my breakdown of ratios were 44% carbs, 28% protein, and 27% fat.
Actually, Sam sent me a photo of her double stuffed sweet potatoes, and I got super jealous, and I went ahead and made it my own. Sweet potatoes are a great source of carbs. Just putting that out there. They're super good. You can dress them up any way you want, savory, sweet. So definitely try out some double stuffed sweet potatoes, and you won't regret it. And so for my dinner, I didn't really make it, but it's totally okay. Usually around dinner time, I'm super busy with like school and like friendships and just, wrapping up my day. So I went to Jason's Deli and I had a po' boy steak sandwich. This day I was very like meaty type of day, but it's totally fine. Didn't eat the chips, but I also had a side of Trader Joe's cold pressed green juice just so that I can get in my dark leafy greens and my other micro slash macro nutrients that I technically didn't get in throughout the day. Also tired of drinking water, so I went ahead and opted for a vegetable juice. And so my total ratios were 48, 30, 39% carbs, 26% fat, and 35% protein.
All right, so not a lot of days, but some days I'll have a snack. So because me and my significant other were watching the movie Ready or Not, I made us popcorn. And so as you see here in the picture, I actually ate half this portion because we shared it. And it is just popcorn. So what the total macro breakdown for that was 61% carbs, no proteins, but 38% fat. Now, so that is the end of my day. Rebecca, did you have a snack as well?
Yeah, well, I'm working on my mechanical eating right now, just trying to really enjoy this intuitive eating. So I've incorporated snacks. Before, I used to be super scared about snacks because I thought snacking was bad and that it would make me like gain weight and like I'm totally ruining my diet. But now snacks are cool. So I had my spirit animal hot Cheetos. So I had the serving size, which is about 17 hot Cheetos, and it was 52% carbs, 41% fat, and less than 1% protein.
All right, so that is just a snapshot of what our daily eating looks like. It might change, but it won't drastically differ from kind of what we feel like we naturally need to eat. Also, to be said towards my eating goals and my eating habits, Some days at the end of the week, I also will participate in, say, a glass of wine. And that is okay because with our intuitive eating principles, there's no bad, there's no good. It's just what we feel satisfies us. And normally a glass or two of wine throughout the week really does it for me. All right. So let's go ahead and break down our total macro ratios. So my total macro ratios were for carbohydrates, 43%, for proteins, 31%, and for fats, 24%. Now, granted, I do realize that because we are looking at ratios of carbs and proteins and not necessarily the calorie breakdown, it could skew our data slightly. So because of that, we're now going to talk about our calorie ratios. Now, a kilocalorie is what we usually use to define and look at food. And so all a kilocalorie definition is the energy needed to raise the temperature of 1 kilogram of water, 1 C, and that is it. That's it. We're just going to use that as unit of measurement. And the way that we broke down our ratios was for 1 gram of carb was 4 calories, 1 gram of protein was 4 calories, and 1 gram of fat was 9 calories. And so for my personal daily total, it was 33% calorie ratios from carbs, 24% calorie ratio from proteins, and 42 calorie ratio from fats.
Whew. All this talk about joule and kilocalories and everything gives me kind of the scaries from chemistry. But anyway, like Sam said, so my macro ratios were 36% carbs, 31% fats, 33% protein. So yeah, cool. But then here comes a little bit of the difference, which is the calorie ratios, but totally fine. So carbs are 26%, fats were 53%, and protein were 22%.
Alrighty, so let's go ahead and look to see, is our intuitive eating balanced? Now that we have all this data, let's analyze it. So for me, it looks like they are very proportionate, very balanced. I don't see in my personal diet where it is skewed towards one macro ratio or another. However, there are always room for small adjustments, which I'm completely open to. So one of the things I might want to work on is my larger meals, or at the end of the day, I can make my larger meals smaller meals and have more snacks. Also, I could replace one fat, like say, take out the almonds in my salad and replace it with more protein, put a little bit more shrimp on top of it. I think that would help even out my diet. However, what I'm naturally eating now, I'm doing pretty good. How about you, Rebecca?
Yeah, so if you totally look at my diet, you see that the fats are 53% versus the protein, which is 22%. And like me, I love avocados. I love chia seeds and flax seeds. So, and olive oil. I can either take out a little bit of the chia seeds, replace it with a little bit more protein throughout the day, and that will even out my intuitive eating. But I like what I eat. I'm happy making my new meals, and I feel satiated with just a little bit of fats here and there. So that's totally fine. Some days I can have more proteins, and some days I can have less fats, but that's part of intuitive eating.
Alrighty, so we were able to answer the question today, is my intuitive eating balanced? And as we see with the small snapshot of how we eat in a day, that Rebecca and I's eating is quite balanced and it makes us very happy. And how we did that was we used a food tracker and we also took pictures of our proportions and we calculated out the mini ratios either between the macros and the calories to look and answer our question. So I want to thank you for joining us in for another episode of Better with Becky and Sammy, where life is just a little bit better with Becky and Sammy. Thank you again to all of our essential workers out there and all the wonderful things that you're doing to help keep our civilization running. And also be able to check out our podcast on either Spotify or Rebecca's YouTube channel, Becky or Fit. Hey, Rebecca, would you like to tell our audience a little bit of something else?
Oh, yeah. Don't forget to eat your rainbow.
All right. So tune in next week for another episode of Better with Becky and Sammy. Yeah, this was a great time. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.